Hi, friends. Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube. Here's what we're discussing today.
Let me assure you, residents, when we mess things up and we're wrong, we're going to discipline our deputies, and in some cases, even arrest and fire them. That's my pledge to the community. On the flip side of that, I have to apply that same standard to the community. If you want to malign my deputies, if you want to destroy their character, if you want to try to commit unrest in this community by absolutely lying, we're going to out you and we're going to arrest you.
Forrest Gump was right. Stupid is as stupid does. I have a pretty good example of stupid is as stupid does today, and it comes to us from Florida Man. It's from Volusia County down in Florida, and it is an interesting exposition of what happens when you not only lie under oath, but when you lie under oath while you're being video recorded. Let's let Mike Chitwood, the sheriff of Volusia County, explain.
Volusia Sheriff Mike Chitwood here. On May 16th of this year at 10:15 p.m., my deputies conducted a car stop for a traffic violation off of Providence Boulevard. The driver acted like a complete jackass and was subsequently arrested for refusing to provide his driver's license and cooperate with deputies. Upon getting out of jail, he then came to our substation in Deltona and filled out a sworn affidavit alleging he was punched, kicked, choked, physically abused, and cursed at. Body camera footage you're going to see absolutely refutes everything that he put into that affidavit, maligning my deputies. As a result, he was arrested, charged with a felony, and is being held on $50,000 bond.
Hello, Sheriff's Office. You got your driver's license on you? Okay. I pulled you over because your tail light's out. The one on your left. The left tail light is completely out. I need your driver's license and your registration. Because I'm asking you for it. This is a traffic stop. Yeah. I'm not giving you a verbal warning. I'm telling you. All right, so this guy, not wanting to identify, he's not going to step out of the vehicle. I can tell you that right now. He's recording his taillights up. His left one.
Okay, let's stop it right there and just sort of talk about this a little bit. If you feel like a cop has pulled you over incorrectly or is in violation of law in pulling you over, then the proper response is not to refuse to identify yourself or take other actions that are imminently self-defeating. It is to cooperate, get through it, and then you file a complaint so that you don't wind up getting arrested. And unfortunately, our gentleman here just doesn't understand that principle.
He's going to be recording you. He's one of those.
Deputy Carroll with Police and Sheriff's Office. Go ahead and turn that down. Do you have your license, registration, and insurance for the vehicle?
You the supervisor?
Do you have the license,
Are you the
registration, and insurance for the vehicle?
Are you the supervisor?
Okay, go ahead and have.
Are you the
Are
supervisor?
you failing to identify yourself on a legal traffic stop?
He's asking to stop. 90's on his list.
Okay, now that was dumb. Rolling up the window was dumb. Doing that whole thing was dumb. All he has to do is answer a few questions. He provides his driver's license. Everything is done. But that's not what happens.
I asked for a supervisor and they
Delta
sent
Money,
another
be advised he is being
No. I
early
asked
on,
for a supervisor.
agitated,
Y'all refusing me a supervisor.
refusing to identify, refusing
And you refused
to
that
get out of the
supervisor
vehicle.
over a freaking taillight out. And you refused that supervisor. You send another one to waste my
Listen, it's a legal traffic stop.
All right, so I pulled him over because his tail light's out. And the second that I walked up, he starts.
And now what happens is we get the actual supervisor, the sergeant who is supervising this shift, and watch what happens here.
Starts arguing. He's not wanting to give me his driver's license, not his registration. He's pulling the whole, oh, there's no reason you're stopping me.
Did he give you his stuff?
Nope.
You want to speak to the supervisor? I'm the supervisor. So, do you have your driver's license and registration?
Mr. Supervisor, where's your badge?
To help you?
No, don't. How do I know you're a supervisor?
Well, there's
Everything.
okay. Well, I'm the supervisor. I'm Sergeant Levin with the Sheriff's Office. How can I help
Call
you?
the police station.
Okay. Do you have your driver's license and registration? Nope. Get out of the truck.
Why? I'm verifying.
I don't care.
You're the supervisor. I just want to
Get out of the truck.
Wait.
No, we're not.
Okay, I'll give you what.
Get out of the truck.
Let me get out.
Get
I'm
out.
getting out. I'm getting. Relax. Don't slam me.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Listen. Hey,
Relax.
relax. This arm is broken.
I don't care. Put your hands on
I
your
just
back.
wanted to talk to the supervisor.
No, you didn't. You want to play that's now you can go to jail. No.
Can I tell you what?
No, you can't.
Is he gonna?
So part of me likes this, and part of me just doesn't like the way it ends up. This is exactly how your typical person who behaves badly at a traffic stop ought to be handled. You know, the guy came up, he showed him the sergeant's stripes. How do I know you're the supervisor? Well, you gotta give people a little credit at some point. That is not objectively reasonable to do what this guy did. But I have a problem also in that he compounded his mistake by then filing that complaint against the officer, as Sheriff Chitwood told you. And admittedly, this gentleman made some things up. As you can see, he wasn't slammed against the car, he wasn't choked, he wasn't hit, he wasn't punched. You can go on the Volusia County Sheriff's Office website and you can watch this video through in the case you think I'm leaving something out. I'm not. But watch what happens with this man, and then he goes and files the complaint, and they wind up arresting him for perjury. And since perjury has come up a couple of times this week in other things, for example, the Hunter Biden trial, I thought I might go over a little bit about what perjury is and how it's proved, how it's prosecuted. And we're talking about a perjury prosecution in the state of Florida, which is where Volusia County is. So in the state of Florida, the prosecution has to prove several elements beyond a reasonable doubt. Perjury involves making a false statement under oath or in an official proceeding, or in a situation where an oath is required by law. Here are the key elements that the state must establish. One, that there was an oath requirement. In other words, if it's just the sheriff's desire that they put these people under oath or do it under penalty of perjury, that does not necessarily cinch the whole idea of whether or not an oath was required. It has to be required by the actual statutes in order for it to be a lawful oath. Now, since the court issued a warrant in this case, it's pretty likely that it was not an official proceeding, but there is a requirement for an oath in that particular document or process where you file a complaint against a deputy. So after you get to the oath requirement, the next thing they have to prove is a false statement. The statement made by the accused has to be false. It must be a deliberate lie, not a mistake or an unintentional error. Where these cases are often defended is on the idea of a mistake. Well, I made a mistake. You know, I was so traumatized by the trauma of being arrested and my stomach hurt the next day and I thought I must have been punched in the stomach, right? That could be, you know, his offer of a defense in that case in terms of a mistake. But basically, it's either not a deliberate lie and an unintentional error, or it's a mistake. Those are all okay, we'll let you pass. But the next item is not materiality. The false statement must be material, meaning that it must have a bearing on the effect of the proceeding. The statement has to have a substantial effect. It must be shown that the falsehood had the power or the potential to influence the outcome of the decision-making process. So in terms of whether or not there's a complaint against a deputy and the deputy is going to be hauled in and investigated for it, if it says that he punched, kicked, or hit this person and they didn't do that, that would be material. Intent. The accused must have knowingly and willfully made the false statement. That means the person knew the statement was false and made it with the intent to deceive. And finally, The false statement must have been made during an official proceeding or one required by law, as we mentioned before. Florida statutes provide specific definitions and requirements for perjury, varying slightly depending on the context. There's perjury in an official proceeding, and then there's perjury when not in an official proceeding. Pretty sure this is perjury when not in an official proceeding because there's no proceeding going on. An official proceeding, as the statute uses that phrase, is a court hearing, a hearing in front of like a Medicaid examiner, somebody like that. Somebody who has a lawful authority to administer oaths, that's going to be an official proceeding. But when you just say it's under penalty of perjury, well, that's perjury not in an official proceeding. Again, this is one of those situations where I think it is the optics of the situation that makes it look bad. So the sheriff decided to pursue this. He went to court. He got a warrant for the arrest of this individual, and they went to the house and arrested him in front of his wife or girlfriend. Let's watch that.
Just come outside. Okay, you're going back. One of the not do it.
Wait, I got a lawyer. I got a
Okay.
Yeah, why am I being
Stop it, this thing. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm not running nowhere. What's going on?
You're warrant for your arrest for perjury.
What perjury? What is that? Can you give me?
It means making a false statement.
Are you kidding? Take, please.
That's just what the warrant's for. You'll have to talk to the courts about that.
Wow. So a true statement that I have recorded.
Can I show you my video, officer, please?
You're gonna want to talk to your lawyer about that, all right?
Yep. Wow. Some shoes, anything?
Yeah, can you get some? Do you see you have some sandals in the shirt? He has a $50,000 bond.
50,000.
So he'll be up at the Volusia County branch. Yeah.
Please don't want to get in trouble.
Stand tight, dude. Like, let's just get in here. Yeah.
Now, what happened to him on the traffic stop, he had coming to him. This may appear to look somewhat retaliatory, but every time somebody files a frivolous complaint with the Volusia County Sheriff, or any sheriff for that matter, somebody has to investigate it. Somebody has to take time out of their day to go view the body camera footage, look at it, and particularly when it's a complaint like this, where you're alleging excessive force, and especially where there was a supervisor on scene at the time and you're alleging excessive force. That could be a major problem for an organization like the Volusia County Sheriff. So I understand that they're taking it seriously. I think to a certain extent, he's trying to make the point at the traffic stop, hey, look, it was only a taillight, and I was just trying to make sure that I was dealing with the people who were in charge. That's probably his defense. I don't know that it's going to fly. And the reason I don't think it's going to fly, primarily, is because the body camera makes him look, as the sheriff suggested, like a jackass. And, that's sort of the way the world works sometimes. The chief danger in taking this approach, instead of bringing the guy in, sitting him down in front of the video and having him watch it, and then having him retract or cancel out his affidavit, the problem with that is it might very well chill somebody who has a meritorious complaint from filing it if they're afraid, or they have the viewpoint that all police officers lie and they lie continuously and it's all just a big gimmick with them. And so it might very well chill somebody from filing a actual valid complaint. But at the same time, I understand the sheriff's position here. He doesn't want to see this kind of thing happen on a routine basis. And as a result, he's pushing it up the line, up to the court. Now the prosecutor and the court may do something else with it. They may wind up letting the guy walk. I don't know. This is one of those videos that demonstrates that doing stupid things has really bad consequences. And when you compound the stupid thing with a second stupid thing, the consequences get worse. Hopefully people recognize that. Maybe they'll learn a little something. Maybe this guy will learn a little something. And I doubt very seriously he'll go to prison on a 111 felony count unless he's got a prior record. And it may very well teach him a lesson. Give me your thoughts on this. I would really love to hear from you what you think about this. And that's what I have for you today. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all those things that you know we ask you to do. You can email me if you want to at the address above. When you have an opportunity today, go out of your way, do something nice for somebody. And then after you're done with that, come on back down here tomorrow and we'll talk about something else fun and interesting. If you like this video, here are a few others you might try, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a terrific day, guys.